is beautiful. Esa mujer tan gorgeous, tan gorgeous. Mommy, why do you look so beautiful? And I love you so. Mommy, what do you know that I love you so much more? Hey, when I look at you, I go crazy. That's true. And I love you too. And I love you. Lily's your turn. Go, Lily. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to video number 2. Why we are one. We're gonna be talking about how we met each other. So it'll probably be brief. If you guys have any questions below, you can let us know. We have our blanket on us because it's kind of cold in this place right now.
This bedroom is always cold. It's the coldest in the whole house.
Yeah, and it's like 60 something in Texas right now, and it's January, but it's cold in the house. So how did we meet? You want to start?
Yeah, because your story is like 10 times longer for some reason. Okay, we're all in pajamas and stuff. Our girls are actually taking a nap right now. It's nap time.
Best time.
How we met? Charlie.
Yeah, because we got time to do this.
We're real. Okay. How did we meet? So first of all, I grew up in a church where I did a lot of ministry, a lot of singing with the choir. Times Square Church in Manhattan, the heart of the city. And I was a part of a choir there, and then through that I got introduced to a group called Truce, which was under Nikki Cruz ministry, like to reach urban communities everywhere, whatever. And so my group, it was like a rap R&B, right, kind of.
Yeah.
And we had like CDs and stuff. It was really fun. I was 19, I think, or 18 at the time. And so our group actually needed a rock band to cover our tracks, like our CD. And so I forget, who was it that got you guys involved? I don't remember.
I think it was a guy named Rich and Alex. They were from the group, and they contracted us basically.
So they basically did that, and then we all ended up going on tour. Our tour was 2 weeks, and we got to sing the songs and stuff and minister to a bunch of youth and share testimonies, and that was so much fun. I was in college at the time.
Yeah.
I was doing an associate in Bronx Community College, I believe. Wow, I don't even remember. So anyways, so then my band, his band ended up being at the same hotel with us in Reading, PA, and then like I guess we had a show that night, which was pretty cool. And we opened up for, I don't remember who it was. I don't know, maybe you do.
No,
I don't remember.
Vague memory.
Anyways, so go ahead. So we met, and then his side is funny. So then I'll chime in later.
Yeah. So then our group was, we were having to learn the whole tracks and getting ready to play live with this group. And my group was Generation Christ. We were out of the Bronx, and it was consisted of mostly family. And most of my family are musicians. So my brother was the lead singer, and then we had my best friend was on the guitar. My cousin was on the bass. So there was a lot of we knew each other, so we were, contracted by Truce to play these tracks. And we're setting up that night, and we get to meet everyone, and everybody's going crazy because we're a different group, we're not Truce, and we're coming with our rock influence, and we're going to be playing their tracks. So at one point, backstage, when I was setting up, usually drums are like on a platform, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, man, there's so many people here, I got to meet everybody. And then I laid eyes on this one here. She had braids.
The hottie.
On, and she had braids, and she looked like she was a tomboy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Excuse me, but so then that means you weren't a tomboy. It's about to look like a tomboy.
No. But
I must have been a good looking tomboy.
That doesn't mean anything though. That doesn't mean anything. So
wait, so what
in
was
the hoodie
I wearing?
you're used to tomboys.
But what was I wearing though?
So you were wearing like some sort of like jumpsuit, like we were in rehearsal.
I honestly don't remember.
Like a hoodie and sweats. And I said, well, let me go backstage and let me just introduce myself. I mean, she looks pretty, so let me just...
That's the only reason?
Yeah.
So everybody else was not pretty?
No, everybody. I mean, everybody else I had already met. She was the only person I had not. So then when I introduced myself, I said, hi, my name is Charles, and what's your name? And basically, her reaction was like, "Who are you?" Basically, and gave me like the most standoffish, ghetto, like I don't want to hear you type thing.
So at the time, first of all, being born and raised in the Bronx, anybody who comes up to you, you're just like, who is this guy? Why is he coming up to my face? I was just not interested, and I was in a relationship at the time when he met me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, I didn't know that, so you can't blame me.
I mean, he just said hi, but still, I was just like, no, and I wasn't in the mood to talk. I was just not having a good week, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I gave it my attempt, and I was doing it more cordially, like getting to know people, because I was never raised as one of the guys that, you go up to girls, and in the Bronx they call it, go and holler at that girl. I was never the type of guy to do that. So I said, let me just introduce myself and whatnot. Well, that didn't work, so I spoke with some of the guys after the concert, and the guy says, well, you know what, she'll come around, I mean, and she'll end up talking to you. And this guy, he was a really nice friend of ours. He ended up passing away last year, but very nice guy. And he told me, don't worry, man. Like, she'll come around. You'll meet her. Because I was just interested. I mean, she looked interesting, So I wanted to get to know her.
Interesting. Yeah. My braids and my jumpsuit.
She looked interesting. A hood girl. Yeah.
So one of the nights, I was actually on the phone arguing with someone, and this guy, because he wasn't a social worker yet, but he had the social worker qualities, and so I'm arguing real loud in the middle of the hotel room. He comes, attempt number 2 to talk to me, comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, are you okay? I heard you arguing. How's everything? Is everything okay?" So I gave you a nasty attitude. I'm like, first of all, it's none of your business. Like, why are you trying to get into my business? I'm on the phone.
Yeah, so,
I don't want to talk about it,
Yeah, so to me, I say, well, this girl's dead of ghetto, and forget her then. So and what I noticed was my brother's 3 years younger than me, and he was the lead singer and in the group, and then she would talk with him during the tour, and I mean they would have conversation, and I'm walking around in the venue, and I'm like, what the heck was wrong with me? Like I'm just trying to introduce myself.
He wasn't a singer. Singers relate. Singer and drummers do not. And he was just, to me, I felt like you were just extremely nosy, Charlie. Like that up. You were just mad nosy.
One thing about me is that I always care about people, and then I think that's a flaw. True. So that I have sometimes because I care too much to the point where sometimes I put myself in situations where I'm gonna get a snobby answer like that. So so time went on, and
Anthony too, when we were talking.
Yeah, and my cousin, she ended up talking with him as well. So time went on, right? And a few months passed, and we decided to do like some sort of reunion, like get the groups together and all of that. But in the meantime, all those months, I would be in my house. I would come from college because I was doing undergrad. I was studying my social work degree, and I would come home and I would hear my brother talking in the room, and I would say, "Who the heck is he talking to?" So I would hear like them singing and all that stuff, and then I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" He's like, "Well, that girl named Selena," and I'm like, "What the heck?" Like, I mean,
he was jealous.
I'm like, "But what the heck did I do?" Because most of the time, if I came off in an inappropriate way, then good for me. But I was just trying to introduce myself.
Okay, he was not inappropriate. I just wasn't in the mood. Like, cause you asked me what was like. He was trying to wanting to get to know what my life was about and why was I struggling, and that's not my style. Like, it's none of your business. So I wasn't into it. So instead, I ended up making friends with his brother and his cousin, who also was a part of the group.
Yeah, and
except Charlie. But anyways, go ahead.
We ended up.
We had a reunion.
Ended up going to the reunion, and it was somewhere in Times Square in New York City, and we went to the movies. And everybody in the movies was just going crazy. I mean,
I was single at the time.
Yeah, she was single.
I had broken up.
Yeah, so it was everybody was going crazy. I mean, everybody was throwing popcorn all over the place. I just having a good old time. I mean, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not about that. And it's not that I don't like fun. It's just I'm pretty much an old soul. That a lot of people say that. So So I said to myself, look, man, like this is not like mature. I'm not gonna do this. So I'm sitting there, and the popcorn is like going
Flying
all over
everywhere.
me. And then Selena was sitting like I think next to me, or
I think I was next to you.
yeah, she was next to me. And then she's not throwing any popcorn, so I'm like, I turn around to her and I tell her, man, these people, like, what the heck are they doing? Like, this is messed up. Like, they shouldn't do that. And for the first time, I got a decent response where it was like, I know, I agree with you. Like, this is not right. And so from then on,
we went to Central Park after.
yeah, we started
took a
communicating.
Long walk, right?
Yeah,
everybody walked. Some people like separated.
So my brother was there. All the guys were there. So we ended up separating. Yeah, we ended up separating, and I went with Selena, and we walked to Central Park, and we were just getting to know each other. Like, hey, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and we got to relate so much because we found out we were living so close. You know, our tour was in Pennsylvania, Reading, Pennsylvania. So to know,
we both lived in the Bronx. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy because not everybody lived in the Bronx.
And it was like a 20-minute bus ride away, right?
Yeah, it was like pretty quick to get there. So then we got to know each other, and the first thing that we decided to do was not date, become friends. And I think that that's important. Like, for a lot of people, when they meet somebody, they like them, they quickly want to jump the base to the next thing. And I said, no, we're gonna be friends, and that's it. We had a group of 3 guys and Selena. Then like, I mean, she.
That sounds so bad.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but we were like.
I was a tomboy, like he said.
Yeah, so we were a little crew, and I mean, we got to spend a lot of time together. It was a good time. We got to know each other.
So we would hang out all the time, late nights in Times Square, like do fun stuff or whatever. Me with the guys, and then one day, this dude, like a few months after we were, I guess, friends, he's like, oh, all of us were getting together and we're gonna go play pool, was it, or something?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm down, I'll go. So then I end up going, and nobody's there but Charlie. And I'm just like, where's the rest of the people? This just got awkward. So he lied to get me. To this day, I think that you lied to get me there. But according to him, everybody canceled.
Well, so some of the people that were involved, unfortunately, can't be here to say it because, like I said, one of them passed away.
Yeah.
So I remember that I had spoken to that guy. I told him, hey, we're going to go out. We're going to play pool. Come out. I'm going to get Selena to come out. And I remember it was like a cold day. I mean, it was cold, like September day or something like that. It was really cold.
New York is cold.
Yeah, and I said, well, it's just us. And we played pool. We had a good time. She was being a little bit more open to discussion and like getting to know me.
And, I was single.
Yeah, and well, that doesn't matter. Jesus Christ.
I know.
So then we walked down to the diner to have food. We ate at the Riverdale Diner, which is in the Bronx. It was really good. And we were buying food, getting ready to eat, and this caught me off guard. But it was kind of like I said, man, this is what I'm getting myself into. Like, this girl is straight hood.
Oh God, Charlie, don't say that.
Yeah, so this girl in the middle of us having a meal,
oh, Lord.
She says to me, hey, I gotta go and take a poop right now. And I'm like, what the heck, man? So I'm like, a poop? Like, who the heck says that? Like, guys, as we're growing up,
that's the hood for you.
We don't think about girls, taking a poop, So I'm like, oh my gosh, she goes and does it, comes back, acting like all relieved, like she let a load out.
No, that was not, no.
Yeah, you were not ashamed. So I'm like, man, this girl is hood, But I liked her being genuine and like opening up to me, because then that meant that she was getting to the point where she could trust me. And we have been already hanging out for months as friends, and then after that, I think we just basically decided to date. And one of the important things.
And I started college.
Yeah, and she started college, so she went to my college.
We went to the same college together. Then we started dating.
She switched over to Nyack College, where I was doing my undergrad. And I think after that, just things picked up, but we were always very patient. So one goal that we always had was that, like I said, we started as friends. We didn't rush into it. And then the second thing was we wanted to get our education completed before anything.
Yes.
And
that's just our goal.
Yeah, everybody has different goals, but I do see that a lot of people end up in situations where they're struggling early in marriage, and it's because if they would have looked back and taken more proactive, smart steps, they wouldn't be in that situation. So We ended up going to college together. Our relationship consisted of a lot of like spiritual stuff because we were, Christ Center stuff. We were always in worship. She would come to my our gigs whenever my band would travel. I would go to hers, and we always support each other. That was one important thing, was support.
Yes.
Because no matter what your dreams are and what you have inside that you want to do, when you're trying to date someone and you're courting someone, that courting means with the intention of getting married, then you have to understand that their dreams are your dreams as well, and you have to be able to support those dreams as well. So we support each other, and we still do to this day. I mean, we created boundaries too. That was one cool thing that we did.
Everybody used to think we were absolutely nuts. Our boundaries.
Yeah, and I think every marriage has tough ups and downs, but we were pretty close. And and even now married, we're pretty much inseparable. And I think a lot of marriages don't do that, and I think it's a lost thing in culture where.
We do everything together.
Yeah, like when we get old and gray, we're gonna always say that we did everything together. Like we're never gonna say, "Man, I missed that moment with you."
We also have our own personal things that we like to do aside from everything together.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I love working out. I love going out with the boys and doing that. And Selena likes to do other things as well.
I will not get up at 4 a.m. to work.
Yeah, so she has her own things that she does
with him. I do that by myself.
Yeah, and with the ladies or whatnot, but. Yeah, but primarily we are together all the time, and I think that's what taught us to get to know each other well and our flaws. Like when we did premarital counseling, because we dated for 3 years.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say you gotta tell them how long.
Yeah, we dated for 3 years.
And then we got engaged on the 4th.
Yeah.
We were engaged for a year.
Yeah, on the 4th year we got engaged, and then we stayed engaged for a year, and we went to premarital counseling, which I think is really important.
Amazing
and
important.
Yeah, because you need to get to know who the heck you're gonna be living with, and who you're gonna be married to, who you're gonna share a bed with,
And they would ask like the most craziest questions that you would be afraid to answer, like deep stuff, personal intimacy, communication.
Yep, and it was a lot. It challenged us, and I think that's what got us to the point where we felt that we were meant for each other. Like, even though we weren't perfect, because nobody is. We knew that we could work and be with each other, knowing that those imperfections were there, but helping each other to get to and strive to being better. Because she can't change me, I can't change her. But when Christ is the center and you work together, then you can change. But she's more of a motivator for me to change. But I have to be willing to. So. We dated there. We did premarital counseling. Then we
were engaged, right?
For that year we did premarital.
And then we got married.
And
we were actually married through the court for 8 months.
Yeah, we got married through the Justice of the Peace first,
and then we had the big bang wedding
a year later.
Gotta save money for that. You can't just.
Yeah, but important. I was already done with my master's degree. Yes. And she was already done with her bachelor's degree. So we were done with our education.
I think she proposed to me after my bachelor's, right? Valentine's year?
Yeah, we were done. We had the degrees hanging,
so we were like ready to go.
Yeah. So it was a great journey. But in those journeys there were struggles, and we learned that those struggles were things that we were going to face in marriage at a magnified level, because people.
You know what? I'm sorry to cut you off, as always. You know what I think? When we were courting or dating and engaged, we set a rule where, like, the rules that you set, I believe, when you're courting is what is going to go into your marriage, if that makes sense. So, like, for example, a rule was, we make decisions together and not allow family to influence our decisions, if that makes sense. Yeah,
and also we were very careful with having private time with the opposite sex.
Yes, that's definitely no.
Yeah, and that was important because.
I don't care if it's your best friend, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt.
Well, that's what we did was we set boundaries with that. So like, yes, we hung out, like I told you, when we were dating, and it was predominantly boys in the hangout group, but we were together, So Selena was never alone at a point where she felt like it was gonna be uncomfortable,
And then I think when we started dating, that whole crew just ended.
Yeah, because they were like, well, I don't want to be third and fourth wheel, so I'm out.
So it was fun though.
But we had a good time, and I think that one important thing to take away from this video, guys, because we're gonna probably end it. It's just so you guys know how we got to know each other and how we got married. Is that you got to make sure that at the center of it all is Christ and your love. And for those that maybe don't believe in Christ, that you have a foundation. I would say there has to be a foundation. So, you know, are you gonna do this for life, or are you gonna do this just for fun? And I think a lot of marriages they go into it with a lust factor. And the reason why we dated so long was to try to make sure that that wasn't part of it. You know, because if I've heard of people that date for like 6 months and then get married. I mean, in the first 6 months, you're super attracted to each other physically, and you know, who knows? And I'm not saying that every couple's like that, but it can happen. I mean, you can marry somebody for the wrong reasons, and then you come to realize it later. So what we're gonna do in the next few videos is to get more in depth about relationship and
probably the beginning of our marriage.
Yeah, the beginning of our marriage. And you know, for single people, this is what I would say. For single people that are looking for someone, I know ours sounds like, oh my gosh, they got to know each other. It was like kind of meant to be. They were both worshipers and stuff. But I was born and raised in a culture where you had to pray and wait. Like you're gonna sit on the couch and God was gonna bring you a woman wrapped up in a gift. Yeah, and then you were gonna get her, and then that's it, and life was perfect. But that's not true. I'm sorry, it's not. And God allows us through prayer, of course, the choice to be able to choose and make and date and stuff like that. I don't believe in sex before marriage. I'm not a real advocate for that. I do feel that it causes a lot more troubles than it should before marriage, because you know too much about that person. You get into areas where you shouldn't know, and it causes some distress. So
and it's the whole lust factor.
Yeah, and like I said, we weren't perfect, and but one thing that we always strive for was that we wanted to make this unity to please God and to please each other, you know, in a respectful way. So for single people, you know, pray, but also be open to having friends. Be open to getting to know people. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Sometimes a friendship can go into a relationship.
And make sure that that person that you're dating is going to back you up and does not want to take you away from your goals. So if you have a set of goals, you better make sure that they're willing to either wait until you reach those goals or stay with you while you reach those goals and push you to reach those goals. Because that's what we've done for each other. That's what really has helped our relationship grow. Yeah,
so I would say that for single people, you're not alone. You're not going to be alone forever. I mean, 6 billion people in the world. So there's going to be somebody that the Lord has for you. But don't be sitting around and waiting for it. It's so funny when I see people that are like 40 and 50 years old and they're like, well, God just brought me this person now. You wasted so much time, okay, that you could have been making friendships. Doesn't mean dating. Making friendships, getting to know people, knowing what you like and dislike. And there's nothing wrong with that. So just search around, be open to it. And if you guys have any questions,
ask us questions.
Yeah, let us know.
Comment, like our page.
Yeah, please. Because the topic videos, the topic videos will come up. If you guys want us to talk about the worst time in our marriage, we can talk about that too.
Oh, I got stories.
I mean, there's a lot of times where, because we're not perfect, but it is a journey that's worth it. And I love this quote that we heard at a conference: "Love is worth fighting for." And then you always fight for that, no matter what. Like, there's moments where we are mad at each other and we don't want to be around each other, but inside our heart, deep, no matter how mad we are with each other, we love each other.